Here I am in my cozy mountain house. That which you hear in the background is the fire. It's not extremely or terribly cold today, but it's cold enough to warrant making a fire and makes things so cozy. So here I am one more day, all alone, in my house in the mountain, in the quiet and peace of nature, together with the tools that allow my creativity to flow, i.e. my piano, this, in this case, a mobile phone allowing me to record and communicate with you. And who is you? You is all of us, because the deeper and deeper I go into my spiritual awakening journey, the clearer it appears that we are all one, and each of us is like a small replica of the whole. Something like that. This is, of course, in human terms. In the English terms, it has to go through these filters, and I don't even know if language allows for a full translation of what existence and reality really is. But we try to get close or closer, and perhaps it doesn't matter so much whether we get it entirely right or not. If we get it right in essence, that will be enough. And the essence of our existence, that to me is clear. And to put it in a neat short sentence, I would say that the nature of our existence, the reality of our existence as humans, is to return Mother Earth to its rightful owners, which are not the dark forces which control it as we speak. Something like that. And this is the basis, the central, the core of my beliefs. And everything else pretty much revolves around this idea. But this is just a short clip to introduce this playlist, which I'm creating as of today. My channel is so very new. I haven't done anything in terms of promotion or anything like that. I've only just recorded and uploaded. And I'm learning the ropes as I go. I learn from the things I believe haven't come out so well. I learn from the things I'm happy with. And I continue to develop my project as I go. And I realized yesterday I met this friend, somebody very special, which I hadn't really met that many times. We hardly know each other, but I can sense some bond. Possibly our souls have a past together or something. Again, there are many theories on why we connect with some souls in a deeper form, and I don't have all the answers, but regardless, I contacted this person and we met. Second time we meet. And I can sense that I can tell them things that I haven't told anybody. And one of them was this thing I'm creating, the need that I have. Not the need, it's not actually a need in the sense that if I don't do it, it's okay, I can do other things. But I do feel that there is a pull, something is pushing me to do this. You know, maybe the goal is not even to get to people physically. I viewed a tarot reading which resonated with me a lot, and it suggested that by thinking I could be doing so much in terms of helping the energies do their thing. And so maybe that's all I have to do. Maybe I just have to speak and record it and upload it, and it doesn't necessarily need to reach many people. Who knows? But anyway, I know I have to do it, and I do it. It's like when you're hungry and you eat. I just feel that I have to do it. And then talking to this person, I open up, because you see, I've changed completely, in the sense, my outlook, my understanding of who I am and of life and existence is totally different. And so you relate to the world and you connect with people in very different ways. I mean, I was never very keen on superficial chit chat, but now it's really difficult to pretend that I'm engaged, or I just it's really difficult when people ask you how you are, and you can only say yes, I'm fine, because if you tell them how you are really, you'll never see them again, which is fine. But I mean, why would you complicate things? Why do you want to say, yeah, I'm fine, I'm just going through this massive spiritual awakening and I can see your ego? But this person was very receptive. I felt I could trust her, and so I told her so much of my inner world, of things which are so not mainstream, things which are only touched upon by a limited number of people. And she was really very receptive, but she didn't get half of it. And it's not due to lack of intelligence or anything like that. It's due to the fact that I feel as though I've taken a quantum leap. And just because it has been very rapid, it doesn't mean that somebody who is not going through the same process or a similar process can grasp it in a few minutes. It's not going to happen. It's not possible, because to begin with, they are not going to identify with what I'm saying because they haven't experienced it. So really, all I can do, or all our conversation can produce, if anything at all, is a little spark, like planting a little seed that might sprout who knows when. But also I realized if I break it down, it might be easier for others to connect. Because my spiritual awakening in a way has been really fast, but it could also be seen as something that's been happening very progressively over the years, because many of the things that now make sense to me were already part of me, only I didn't know what it meant and I didn't know what to do with it. So that's why I had the idea that I want to create a playlist, which I'm going to title Spirituality for Beginners. And of course, this is spirituality as I see it. And to me, it does the trick. In other words, my translation into language, concepts, of what I sense to be existence is, in my opinion, quite solid. And it doesn't need to sound the same as somebody else's. It's not like a movie where, the same story is told in slightly different terms and then you're going to believe one or the other. It just needs to have cohesion, coherence, and above all, it needs to click inside of you. We've been so brainwashed with the idea that everything needs to be empirical and scientific, and that if it's not to be accepted. And I am myself very empirically oriented, in the sense that all my theories I pass through a filter of what I call logic. However, there's something inside of me and inside of you, our soul, which is just going to tell you when it's right. You're just going to feel it. Myself, I feel it like a warmth filling up my chest, and also a feeling of depth within my chest. And it feels soothing. And that's when I know I'm onto something. I'm on the right track. So I want to begin by explaining in simple terms what a spiritual awakening is. Because unless you've gone through a spiritual awakening, it's going to be very difficult to understand really what this thing is about. I guess people will think meditation, isolation, deprivation even of Earth's simplest pleasures. And as everything that we are thrown by mainstream and by general consensus, there might be some truth in it, but it's mixed with a lot of false concepts and ideas. And a spiritual awakening doesn't need to look the same for everybody. Yes, you're more inclined to do things like meditation, although I don't like the concept. I don't like the label. Meditation shouldn't be a thing, but that's for another chapter. But anyway, to keep it simple, you're inclined to spend more time on your own. You're more inclined to look inside. You're more inclined to be in nature. You're more inclined to be more creative. But it's not something that you decide and you wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to go on a 5-day retreat with some Buddhist monk somewhere. Or as of tomorrow, I'm going to meditate 10 minutes a day with this app. Or I'm just going to go and sit on the beach every day for half an hour so that I can have a spiritual awakening. I mean, anything which is a method or a system or a set of rules. In other words, when you search outside of yourself, you're really swimming in the opposite direction of a spiritual awakening, because you have to look inside. Guidance, that's something else. To be guided by somebody is probably necessary, because we are programmed and our lives are designed so that we don't have an opportunity to go through such a thing. But guidance is different. It's like little clues, suggestions on how to look at things slightly differently, and how to learn to listen to yourself, to your true self, so that you little by little begin to develop your own way to discover your soul. So in a spiritual awakening, it's just discovering your soul, identifying your soul, and being able to tell it apart from everything else which is running in your head, which is not part of your soul, which is the ego, what I call the ego virus, interfering with how your normal consciousness software is meant to run. So it's as simple as that. It's awakening, realizing, discovering your soul. And how to do that will be in the next video. Thank you for your company. And let me just ask you that if you found this useful, interesting, inspiring, please hit the like, subscribe buttons. It will be very much appreciated. Bye-bye.